The fallout after AEW Double or Nothing happened last night on Dynamite. These are my thoughts on the show. Some high points, and there were a couple of low points. I'll let you know my thoughts. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below if you'd like to see more of my content. It really supports this channel. Let's get on to the review on Screw the Script. Double or Nothing from this past Sunday was one of AEW's best and highest rated pay-per-views ever in the 6 years that the company has been around. I believe on certain websites it is ranked number one by the people, not just by the website. This goes to show for many weeks now on my channel I have been saying that AEW has had a resurgence in 2025. This year very much feels like 2019 all over again, except we all know who these stars are. And we've got storylines. Speaking of storylines, to open up the show, we had Hangman come out to an ovation after winning against Will Ospreay. And he cuts a very passionate promo once again. It was really, really good. And then Swerve Strickland comes out. And this is where things get juicy. And people say AEW can't do storylines. This is yet another example of why they can do storylines. This bit that happened last night really got me invested in the Deathriders once again. I said Gabe Kidd getting involved made things more interesting again. But now you have this interesting dynamic where Swerve Strickland came out last night after Hangman had his speech. Hangman Adam Page went on to basically say that he wants to beat Jon Moxley, end his reign, and liberate the AEW World Championship. That's what I have down here. He's getting sympathy from the crowd. The crowd has firmly gotten behind him now, basically of his coming of age these last couple of years where he was a heel for a little while. He did heel things. You know, he burnt down Swerve's house. He ended Daniel's career, and he's turned things around. And he said after he won against Will Ospreay, if anybody watched the post-media scrum, he had, this isn't verbatim, but he had a line saying that he was going after the championship in the tournament last year for all the wrong things. And this year it was for all the right things, and that's why he ended up winning this time around in the Owen Cup tournament. So that was great to see. And then with Swerve coming out, basically calling out Hangman, saying like, were you up to this? Were you the one that had somebody get in and get involved for my title shot when I faced Moxley? And then Hangman basically called him out, saying that he's dumb for believing that if he wanted to cost Swerve his title shot, he would have done so himself. Then Will Ospreay comes out and basically goes in between the two of them and tries to be the center of reason. This is cooking. This is how you get a very, very layered storyline. I mean, this could be a storyline in itself, but it's all part of the whole company, basically, wanting to end Jon Moxley and the Deathrider's reign as AEW World Champion. Will Ospreay said something like, you know, I love you, Swerve. I thought you were the guy, but no, he's the guy. Typically, AEW doesn't have opening segments that last this long, because this was about 20 minutes. But it flew by like that, because I was invested the whole time. And then the rest of the night, we had some good matches, and then we had a match that was... We'll get to that next. I'm going to quickly glance over the match of the night that I just didn't really care about a whole lot, because we all knew that the Deathriders were going to win this. Certainly they were going to lose again after just losing at all, or Double or Nothing. So we had Moxley, Gabe Kidd, and Marina. They defeated Briscoe, Mike Bailey, and Willow Nightingale. Not much to be said here. It was a predictable match. It was still a fun match. I really like seeing Mike Bailey being used as much as he has been. He just had, which was my second favorite match of the night, a title shot at Double or Nothing against Okada. He came up just a little short, but he's being used week in and week out, and he just joined not too long ago, and he is a very big focal point in AEW already. So I'm glad to see that, despite them not getting the win. They weren't going to win twice within a week time frame, so this was a very predictable match, but nonetheless, it was a decent match. Now, to get out of the way the big issue from Dynamite last night. I love AEW. I love their women's division. I think it's really been taken off in the last year now. But this match was not good. Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. Both Anna Jay and Harley Cameron walked away injured after the end of this match. I am pretty sure Harley Cameron broke her nose, and I'm pretty sure Anna Jay got concussed because she landed literally head first on a steel chair after taking Megan Bayne's finisher. I forget what she calls it. It's basically a modified F5. So, I hate to say it, but I think for like hardcore matches and stuff, I really don't think it's Megan Bayne's wheelhouse to be in right now. I think she needs a lot more training because if I'm not mistaken, she was the one that injured both competitors last night. And then you had a really bad botch at the end that just, it's not forgivable. Penelope Ford went to the top rope to do a diving clothesline while Megan Bayne held Harley Cameron on her shoulders, and I'm almost certain she completely missed. I don't think there was any contact whatsoever, so basically the match ended on an electric chair move from Megan Bayne. Just not a good match. Have to get past this. The women's division gets a pass here because every other thing that they've done in the last year has been really, really solid and great. This was a rare L for the AEW women's division. Then we're going to get on. I'm not going to take much time on this at all. The Frat House, they're actually pretty entertaining. They're annoyingly stupid, but for whatever reason, I find them extremely entertaining. They feel like AEW's modern version of the Spirit Squad. If anybody remembers those guys back in the day when Dolph Ziggler was in the Spirit Squad.
Kenny, Johnny, Ned, Nicky, Mikey, and we are the Spirit Squad.
And a few others. I can't remember off the top of my head who else was in that, but yeah, that's what the Frat House feels like. They get squashed in under 10 minutes by the Ops. I'm really starting to think that they're just going to keep Hobbs in the Ops. I don't think that they're going to do much with Hook in the Ops anymore. I think they're just going to have him go solo again. Because at this point, it would feel weird to have him come back and then push out Will Hobbs. I think he's just part of the Ops permanently now. We saw a good women's segment. Jamie Hayter comes out, and she's interrupted during her promo by the debut Stardom star over from Japan, New Japan, Thekla. She debuted last night. It was a really quick debut. She looks great. I mean, here's a photo here. I mean, that photo, just looking at that hurts my back. I would not be able to do that without throwing it out. She's impressive. If you haven't seen anything from her or don't know much about her at all, just do a quick search on YouTube, Google somewhere. You'll find a lot of good video packages of her. Her entrance music went hard, so I'm glad that they gave her something that went along with her gimmick. But yeah, Thekla is here. I'm really excited to see where things go with her. It looks like she's probably going to start a feud with Jamie Hayter right away. Much like I predicted, Kyle Fletcher was going to be the one to challenge Adam Cole. Now, in a previous video, I thought that this wasn't going to happen until All In, but after the end of the match, it does look like this probably will continue on to All In, because it was an average match. We saw Adam Cole clip his head really bad. Kyle Fletcher completely missed a power bomb onto the apron on the outside, and that's the worst person to have that happen to, with Adam Cole having the amount of concussions that he's had in his career. That looked scary. Honestly, it was the only thing that I took away from this match, so not a very good look. Credit to both Adam Cole for continuing, because I'm sure he's probably concussed. I mean, I don't know how you're not after taking that bump. And then Kyle Fletcher just looked so huge compared to Adam Cole. Adam Cole, I love Adam Cole, but he's just, as he's aged, he's gotten smaller. He is so thin now that you can see his spine a lot of the times when he's wrestling. And Kyle Fletcher just looked like money compared to him. So I am going to make this prediction like I made it like a week or two ago on this channel. I'm going to stand by it. This is going to go on to All In. Kyle Fletcher is going to be the one to beat Adam Cole at All In for that TNT champ, and you'll have his first singles title in AEW after All In. Other than that, this match was not the best TNT title match on Dynamite. Again, I'm glad Adam Cole seems to be okay, but that was a dangerous spot. And if that's the thing that I take away from a match, then you know it wasn't all that good. Brody King versus Josh Alexander, however, was a really, really good singles match on Dynamite. And this was part of the four-way qualifier for the Continental Championship match against Kenny Omega next week at Fyter Fest. The other two matches will be on Collision later this week. This was a really good match. And the right guy won at the end. I love Josh Alexander. The Walking Weapon is an awesome nickname. He just showed up in AEW, though, so he'll get his dues. Right now, he's just alongside Don Callis and the Don Callis family, but I'm sure he'll break free from that at some point. Brody King has been deserving of a push for a while, and honestly, unfortunately, he's probably not going to beat Omega next week. I just don't want him to eat the pin, and I want him to be showcased really, really well in the match, hopefully enough where it gets the crowd behind him, and he can go on to maybe win some sort of title or something, or just pick up a really solid singles match win at All In. He really deserves the push. I've been saying that on this channel a lot as well. I'm glad to see that Brody King won last night. Where the women's division didn't have a very good match last night on Dynamite, they had an amazing promo to end Dynamite. Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné, face-to-face, they are going to have one of probably the best women's matches ever for AEW at All In later this summer. I'm really looking forward to it. Say what you want about Mercedes, but she is a worker. Every match that she's had in AEW, pretty much every match that I can think of has been really good, especially every title match, every defense that she's had at pay-per-views. They're all good. Her and Jamie Hayter had, in my mind, the third best match of Double or Nothing this past weekend. Mercedes arriving in a limo was ridiculous. My favorite part was when Toni Storm called out Mercedes Moné saying, you waited, what was the number, 400 and some odd days, 411, I think it was. 411 days you waited to finally come after me. What took you so long? And that was a pretty powerful comment. Then Toni Storm gave Moné, she gave her props saying that she is arguably the GOAT in women's wrestling, but she is timeless. So that was a good way to respect your opponent, but say, you know what, I think I'm better than you still. That's all I had for you on this episode of Screw the Script. Like I said, at some point I am going to be going through a name change. Right now I'm just brainstorming names. I explained why on my last video, but if you didn't watch that video, basically Screw the Script is being used by a couple other channels and also an actual website, if I'm not mistaken, when I did a Google search, and I think it is hurting my channel growth because people aren't finding, when they search stuff like that, they're not looking for a pro wrestling channel, and vice versa. When they're looking for a pro wrestling channel, they're not searching my name because I got to come up with something that that works better for that. But nonetheless, I would say the fallout from Double or Nothing could have been a little bit better, but it was still a pretty solid episode of Dynamite. We'll see what happens on Collision later this week, because I'm really looking forward to Kenny Omega defending his belt in a four-way match. I really like triple threats and four-ways in AEW. They're a blast. As always, this has been Maverick with Screw the Script. Thanks for watching.